Okay, we're going over to login.php. Open that up from your server. Okay, so I did a view and edit. So here you're going to see three things. When you do a login, like I said before in Ajax, you need to make sure your server is able to handle at least these three things. One, if the user is visiting for the first time, you need to present the login form. Now don't make your first page the login form. Okay, let the backend load the login form for you, and we'll explain more later. If the login was successful, meaning they provided the right username and password, make sure you set a cookie and then redirect them to page one. Page one here is going to be our home page. If it's a failure, make sure you present the login form, but the most important thing here is that you present an error. If you click login and you don't have the right credentials and it just sits there, it doesn't do anything, the user's not going to know that they failed, and you'll get docked off points on your final project. So make sure you display an error message to let the user know they failed. Okay, and if they visit your site and the user's already logged in, make sure you redirect them to the home page. You don't want your user to have to log in several times. So here, the first thing that we're going to do in our backend code is see if the user is logged in. Here I'm checking a username variable, but it hasn't been defined yet. So we need to define it. Here I'll say username is equal to, and we've done these before, they're called ternary operators. First, check to see if the cookie super global array for keyword username is empty. If it is, give it a default value. That way your code won't crash later. If it's not empty, go ahead and actually grab that value. Okay, we'll actually grab the username cookie. Here we'll check to see if the cookie exists. If it does exist, most likely they're logged in. If it doesn't, we'll redirect them back to the home page. If they haven't logged in, we'll see what action has been set. This is that hidden variable in the form. We'll compare action to do login. If the action is equal to do login, then we know that it was our form that was submitted and not some other form. So we'll handle the request. If it doesn't equal do login, there could be a lot of different possibilities. So we'll present them back with the login form. To handle the login, it's something similar to the Ajax lecture. First, we need to grab the username and password. Again, we'll check to see if the post array is empty. If the post array is empty for the username, then we'll default to an empty string. Otherwise, we'll actually grab the post array's value and set it to our username variable. Let's do the same with password. Instead of typing again, go ahead, copy and paste, which will be much quicker. Make sure you change the keys and also the variable name. If you forget to change the keys, you have the wrong data and your login will fail. Next, we'll just do a hard code. Later, we will connect to a database and pull the username and password from a database. But for right now, let's just check the username and password to a hard-coded string. This will make sure we get this simple proof of concept down. Here, I'm checking username and password to a hard-coded string called test and pass. Remember, for your final project, you also need a username and password of test and pass. That way the TA can log in and check your site. If the login was successful by providing the right credentials, we're going to set a cookie. The cookie will be called username, and the value will actually be the username they sent up in the form. After we've set the cookie, we can redirect them to the main page. And here, in this code, the main page is page 1.php, and we don't need to process any more code, so we'll do an exit, and we'll exit this PHP script. If the username and password does not match, well then we have an error, so we better display a message to let the user know something went wrong. You can see here I'm saying wrong username or password. What's really nice is when a site tells you what you did wrong. Instead of saying or password, you can say incorrect username or incorrect password or incorrect username and password, which would require some more else if statements. So you could do something like this. You can say else if username does not equal test. We'll tell them they have the wrong username. Else if password does not equal pass. Or maybe they both don't equal. So we can say incorrect username and password. Okay, so this one would be incorrect password. This one would be incorrect username. I really like when sites do this. That way I know exactly what's wrong and what's right. So this is all you need. Okay, this is a simple proof of concept. We check if the user is visiting for the first time, see if they've logged in. If they've logged in, we redirect them to the home page. If they haven't, they've visited maybe for the first time. So we see if we need to handle the login. We need to handle the login we pull out the username and password, check to see if they entered it correctly. If not, we find out what they did wrong and then redirect them to the login form, but make sure you display an error message. Now we can test this code. If I come back, upload to the server, come back, refresh the page. Here I can do the wrong username, wrong password, okay, incorrect username. So now let me fix the username. Okay, now it says incorrect password. If I type the right username and password, now it goes to page 1. I can click on page 1. I can click on go to page 2. It goes to page 2. I can log out, but it didn't delete the cookie. So in the next video, I'll show you how to delete the cookie.